On this episode, we share our top ways to save time and money when dining at Disney World. Today is April 7th, 2023, and this is episode 554 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I am your host, Jeremy Stein, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey, guys.
Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic. If you've not done so already, head out to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join. Then if you hit that subscribe button, you're going to get these brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. There would not be a better time or episode to mention dining at Disney World.
Absolutely.
Getting your reservations for those table signature restaurants 60 days out sometimes can be extremely frustrating. Sometimes you just can't get what you want. But you don't have to worry because Mouse Dining is going to remove that frustration of booking your Disney dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. You can visit msmfriends.com to use this free service.
So today we are talking about dining and saving on dining. But first, I would like to apologize for it being out late today. And I don't know if it's been a week for everybody else, but it has been a week for us. It has been.
Yeah.
And it's funny because all my clients kind of kept coming in and saying the same thing. So I hope everybody has had a great week, even though it's been a week. And happy Good Friday.
Yes.
Easter is Sunday.
Yeah.
And so the reason our week has been so is I worked a lot. But not only that, but Monday morning, I signed papers to get and buy my girlfriend's 2020 Toyota 4Runner. So we have a new car, and her name is Black Widow.
It is sweet.
Yeah.
Like seriously, this truck is awesome.
She's black on black.
Yeah, we'll be blacked out rims and all the emblems and everything, and black leather interior, and hence why we're calling her Black Widow. Will we ever call her Natasha? Or is it just straight Black Widow? So I got Rhonda a little Lego minifigure, Black Widow keychain to go on her little key fob thing and all. But no, we're super excited. But it took up a lot of yesterday because we actually went to go pick up the truck from her friend, and then Rhonda had to take her friend to the airport, and then we had dinner with friends, and we were getting prepped because my parents are coming into town for Easter weekend, so we were grocery shopping and all that type of stuff. So that is why today's episode is being recorded right now, and then we'll immediately go out here, hopefully around lunchtime. So when you're listening to this, it is very, very fresh. But we are talking about ways to save, ways to budget. This is going to save you time, going to save you money, and I'm going to use a reference from my brother, Alan Stein Jr.
Okay.
Everything that we're going to tell you today, a lot of it you probably already know. It's very basic, but that doesn't mean that it's easy to do all these.
Correct.
And when you're budgeting for a Disney vacation, I think it's obviously very easy to talk to Chuck with Main Street Magic Travel.
Oh,
absolutely. Of course, you can get a free quote, mainstmagic.travel.com. But because Chuck's going to come back and say, here's your dead set price of your vacation, including your room, your tickets, if you got Hopper,
Right.
Then you got to go back and go, all right, here's that number. Obviously, you're not done with your budget and your spending.
Correct.
You got to then look at Genie Plus. You got to look at individual lightning lanes. You got to think of a budget for merchandise. But one of the most important ones is budgeting and saving ahead of time for your meals.
Correct.
Now, we'll go ahead and throw out another little partner of ours, of course, with Vacation Grocery Delivery.
Yes.
I'll put that out there right now that highly recommend you have groceries delivered to your resort.
Absolutely.
That can include snacks. They can do Publix platters of like popcorn chicken, of subs and sandwiches, salads, whatever.
And you can take this stuff into the park.
You can.
A whole pizza.
Yeah.
I'll never forget. That is what's nice about Disney. They are not restricting you on what you can bring into the parks. So I even asked the lady, I was like, just because I was like, really? There's got to be some. And I was like, what if I want to bring a whole pizza? She said, bring a whole pizza.
Yeah. She was like, I've never seen anyone do it, but you could.
I said, okay.
Cool. And of course, the only restriction, if you're not aware, is that no loose ice. So if you have a cooler It cannot just have ice just dumped in it with all your stuff in it. You can Ziploc bag it.
Correct.
Or use ice packs or something. You're going to be better off getting ice at your resort, because unless you're in a DVC room, you're not going to have a freezer unless you're in like a 1-bedroom or up. So that's something to note. But as much as I think you should utilize vacation grocery delivery to save on things like breakfast, especially, you don't want to miss out on Disney dining. Like, I would never recommend somebody goes and just eats from
100%.
stuff they ordered,
100%.
to their room. So we're going to go over first. We're going to talk a little bit about the different options for dining at Disney. Let's start with exactly what is a table service or signature style restaurant.
Well, a table service is where you obviously sit down at a table. You're waited on. You usually have to, depending on the time of the year, absolutely have to have reservations. Advance reservation, like 60 days out.
Get them at the
not
60,
even
just
like,
to be safe.
oh, we're gonna go in a week or two.
Yeah.
No, like 60 days out. Sometimes you can definitely get lucky and you can be looking and you can find something, but so it is more expensive at a table service, because also depending on which one you pick, it could be per person because it is a buffet.
Yep.
Or it could be per like meal. So that can be a little saving because like Jeremy and I, we split a lot of things. So like, for example, if you're at Epcot and there's a festival going on, eat a few snacks from there. And then when you sit down at like a really nice place, say,
maybe go to Coral Reef or something
like that, then you can sit down and actually share something and get out a little cheaper.
Yeah, for sure. Now, one of the other main dining options that you're going to have is going to be the quick service or counter service. And what do those entail?
Well, those are no advance reservations at all. Not even reservations.
Yeah.
You order usually at a counter. Sometimes you can mobile order.
Highly recommend mobile order. If we're going to talk about saving time, mobile order is a great one. We have mentioned this in the past, but again, want to mention it again. You can use a Disney gift card for your mobile order. However, you cannot store that gift card.
Yeah.
So we'd recommend you go into the Notes app on your phone or whatever the heck they call it on an Android. I'm sure it's got some weirdo name. And you go ahead and type in that gift card number so you can easily copy and paste it when you go to check out on mobile order.
Yeah.
But continue.
Yeah. And then, of course, once you order at the counter, you get it, you pick your own seat, and good luck on that sometimes, depending.
If you're dining at like Pecos Bill or Cosmic Ray, good luck finding seat.
Yeah, which is a little sad.
Yeah.
But of course, it's less expensive also than your table service. And again, it is something that you can pick what you want. You don't have to each get a meal. You could share.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
At Connections Cafe, we've sat there and shared before, and it's super good.
I'd like to get
go back
there.
to there.
I think we need to. Maybe we could eat there next Saturday because we've got a big lunch for Friday. I don't know that we'll be eating dinner on Friday, but maybe we can do a late lunch there.
And I love how there's more seating there now.
Yes, yeah.
Which there was very hard to find. Poor Allie and I
Oh, I know when it first opened,
almost had to fight people. Like, hey, this is ours. We got food coming.
Yeah.
So.
And to be honest, there are some locations now that are super busy that a cast member will come around, and if you do not have food actively in front of you, like if you say, all right, Rhonda, you go check out or you go order the food, I'm going to go find a seat. Sometimes they won't allow you to save a seat, even if you've got somebody in line getting food.
Yeah.
You need to have the tray in front of you.
Yeah.
So just something to note. A couple other ways, I guess you could get food at Disney. There are some of these carts. I'm really thinking about Animal Kingdom.
Yes. Yep.
For sure.
Yep.
That has
the little kiosks.
Yeah, you've got the Mr. Kamal's and the fries. You've got the alligator place that has like that open-faced turkey sandwich and a BLT, I think, that we've had before. Your stands with popcorn, pretzels. Highly recommend if you are a snacking type family, especially when you got kids, get your popcorn bucket. You don't have to go all fancy and get, a Figment bucket or something. You can go ahead right now. They're going to have the 100th anniversary standard popcorn bucket with lid. You can get refills for like $2 for the rest of your trip.
I think it's $225.
$225 now
or something.
We got to get a 100th anniversary popcorn bucket, by the way.
Okay.
This coming weekend. But so that's something that you can do. That's a good way to get fountain sodas and things like that. But that's where I would also go back to your vacation grocery delivery. If you've got, our friend Tina has to have her Diet Coke every morning.
Yep.
I think it's silly every morning for her to spend $4 on a Diet Coke in the parks or at the resort.
Absolutely.
Have vacation grocery delivery deliver those. If you put the soda in your park bag and bring it into the park, just go to any quick service or these snack stands that serve fountain sodas, ask for a cup of ice, pour it over it. You're good to go.
Yep.
So just another way to kind of save by bringing stuff like that.
A water bottle or, your refillable mug that you can't refill in the parks.
Right.
But you can put your own soda and stuff in it. Stuff
For sure.
like that.
Another one that Rhonda mentioned was the festival kiosks. If you're at Epcot, they have all of these, smaller size portions depending on what festival. It's a different variety of food and drink.
Mm-hmm.
So that is another way to dine. So there's two ways to kind of budget going into your Disney trip because you really, really do. And going back to Genie Plus, because I've been running this through my head all week at it hitting its high level of $35 a person per day.
Ooh.
You're getting a Tron at $20 for individual Lightning Lane. And I know we're not talking about Genie Plus this episode, but I'm just going to mention it. Just know that I 100% understand the variable pricing. Everybody does it. I mean, they do it on park tickets. So I understand busier times, it's more.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I hate is that you don't know. Like everybody that budgeted, even for $29, which was the previous highest we saw it over the holidays,
Mm-hmm.
they budgeted and said, I'm going to plan on $29 a day per person for my family of 4. All of a sudden, it's $6 more, 6 times 4, that's $24 a day. If you're there for a week, all of a sudden, you're over $100 under what you might have budgeted. So, again, just something to remember.
Absolutely.
And that's going to be the same way with going into your food. So, if you have everything laid out, I know there are people that are super duper planners. They've got a spreadsheet. They've got a Word doc. It says, here's what we're doing every day. Here's the quick service restaurant. Here's the table service restaurant. We got a reservation, all of this. You can go in and look at the menus online on Disney's site and go ahead and add them up.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You could sit and for me, that takes some of the fun out of it. But if you really need to budget, go for it.
But some people, and I say people, like the one, I feel like the person in the family, like maybe the dad or the mom is like, all right, well, this is what we got. And, they kind of want to do that.
Yeah. But I could, and I could see it. And again, it's not that you'd even have to have a family meeting and say, pick out what you're going to eat 60 days from now, and that's what you're going to order. Like, you don't have to do that, but you can get a really good idea.
Right.
You go, all right, typically our family of 4 sits down at a restaurant. Lacey gets chicken finger and fries. Boom, there's the price for that one. Kaylin may get a burger and fries. Boom, there's the price. If there's shrimp and grits on the menu, Rhonda's getting it. There's the price.
Yep.
And I'm getting a steak or something, and I can go, all right, this is going to be about an X number dollar of meal. If you're doing a table service or signature restaurant, don't forget to factor in tip as well.
Yes.
Another way to do it, this is probably the easiest way to do it, is use an average for each day. So snacks are going to average around $5 to $6 each.
Mm-hmm.
Your quick service meals, the average is about $19 all in per adult per meal, and about $11 per child, which would be ages 3 to 9. Table service meals are averaging about $42 per adult per meal and about $25 per child. Again,
now,
don't forget your tip.
I know it says 3 to 9, but just so y'all are aware, I, 43-year-old, have ordered from the kids menu because I didn't want such a big meal, and nobody's saying like, well, you're not 9, like, and so that was super nice. So if sometimes on the adult menu there's the same on the kid menu, and I'm like, I just don't want that much, so I've totally ordered from the kid menu, just to let y'all know.
That's a great way to save.
And back to the tips, if you have more than 6, I believe
6 and up party,
it does already add gratuity.
Yeah,
and
18%
then of course
gratuity.
You can add more, but just be aware of that because there's been multiple times through our lifetime, whether it's in Disney or if it's literally at our local area around here dining, that it's been ordered or it's been added. We don't even look. We see the total price and then we add 20 or 30%
on top.
So
no, that brings up a really good point. Do you agree? Like for us, I'm going to say, do breakfast in your room. Vacation grocery delivery, unless
I don't
there is a day
usually breakfast,
we don't really eat
yes.
breakfast, but for the average people that do eat breakfast,
correct.
Now I would plan maybe one breakfast during your trip at like a Cape May cafe or a Boma, but Ohana. I would recommend sticking to
Topolino's.
One quick service and one table service per day at max. And we're going to break down some prices on if you do something else, but like. This was a big thing with the dining plan.
Yeah.
People all of a sudden are doing a sit down because it made sense financially. You're doing a sit down breakfast, a sit down lunch, and a sit down dinner.
That's a lot.
It's a ton of food and it's a ton of money. So I would balance those out. I would find what your top restaurants you want to eat at are, and I would do no more personally if you want to save money and not just be so full you just want to die.
Mm-hmm.
One quick service. One table service per day.
Yeah, because in fact, our good friends Christina and her family, and she's the only girl. It's her husband and her two boys, and they are
two men.
Men now,
now.
They are in college or out of college, both. And with all that being said, they got it.
I met her before they were even born. That just came to me.
And Austin's in college, and
and Nick's
Nick's out.
Yep, over 21, and wow. Oh, geez, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they wouldn't have been born. I'll have to text her after and make sure on my timing.
Anyways, so they got the dining plan, and they did. They sat down for a breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And the hard part was there's a lot of hard parts behind all this. The hard part is at one point they couldn't go and do a ride, or they couldn't do this because they had to go and sit down.
Yeah, and you're losing money if you don't go sit at this restaurant.
Exactly,
and eat food.
And that's what they didn't want to do. So they were, and I'll never forget. When they had to go, they had to leave us because they had to go sit down. And she's like, I'm still full from breakfast. I don't even want to.
Yeah.
But she did.
Mm-hmm.
And then also that same time, one of the boys was sick.
I think it was Nick got sick that night from just overeating.
Just everything.
Yeah. So
it was awful.
And again, that's a reason, not only from a budget and save money standpoint, but from a just eating so much standpoint.
Correct.
So I'm gonna break down some averages real quick, just so you know what to kind of budget potentially. If you are gonna plan on just doing, you don't want to do table service meals. You're gonna do, or even you could use these day by day. If you know that one day you're doing only table service, one day you're doing
somebody's
only
gonna love
service.
you for this.
Yeah, hope so. All right, so if you're doing 2 quick service meals in a day, you want to budget $38 per adult for each of those days and $22 per child for each of those days. If you're going to do 1 quick service and 1 table service, $61 for the adult, $36 for the child. If you're going to do 1 quick service and 2 table service, so maybe you're doing a sit-down breakfast, quick service lunch, and a sit-down dinner, you're going to want to budget $103 for the adult, $61 for the kid.
And this is per adult, per kid.
Yeah, per kid. If you are going to do 2 quick service meals, maybe your breakfast and lunch, and then you're simply going to do 1 table service meal on that day, $80 for adults, $47 for children. If you do no quick service meals, but you decide to do 2 table service meals, so maybe you do your breakfast in your room from vacation grocery delivery, you do a sit-down lunch, you do a sit-down dinner, $84 per adult, $50 per child. And then finally, if you're going to do what we're just saying, I don't think you should do, zero quick service, 3 table service meals in a day. And maybe there is one day you do that. Again, $126 for adults, $75 for children.
And if you go back to, I like the
1 and 1.
1 and
yeah.
Oh no, the 1 and 2.
Okay,
because like you might have a breakfast Ohana, and then later. But you're talking that's $328 for
a family of 4 with 2 kids.
4.
Okay, per day.
Per day.
And I think that's
and then if
pretty
you're
fair.
doing that, but I think if you if you go back to the 1 and 1, you're at 122.
Yeah,
plus,
for the adults.
Right. Plus 36 is so it's not even $200, $194 for the 1 and 1.
Yeah. And again, you could plan day by day. You could say, well, Monday we're doing 2 quick service. On Tuesday, we're actually doing 2 table service, but that'll give you an idea. This is not including the cost of beverages. And a lot of these are as far as like snacks and stuff. Average cost of your fountain drinks, your waters are about $4. Average cost of a canned beer is around $8. Average cost of an alcoholic cocktail is about $10 at a quick service restaurant, $12 at table service, and then other types of specialty drinks without alcohol are about $5 each. So let's move in next on ways that you can save ahead of time.
Okay.
One of those is gift cards. And again, this is where we're going to get into the basics. The basics work. It's the Kobe Bryant, Alan Stein Jr. story, right? But get gift cards leading up in a couple ways. What you could decide is that once a week, for however many weeks leading up, you say, I'm going to go to Publix once a week, or every 2 weeks I get paid, and I'm going to buy a $50 gift card or a $100 gift card or whatever it may be.
Yep.
If you go to Target and use your red card,
yep.
I know BJ's Wholesale does this, and Best Buy will do this sometimes with digital gift cards online. They sell them at a reduced price. So you might get a $100 gift card for just say $90 or something. That's another way to do it. Of course, go to the Disney gift card website, register these, and then you can combine them up to $1,000.
Yeah.
And have that gift card throughout the whole time.
Absolutely.
If you're not the gift card style person, you could just set aside money every week, right? So that's a good way to save.
Absolutely.
Sell items online, on eBay, on all these different sites. You know, you can. I know it sounds silly. Have a yard sale. Like literally,
ours
go
is
through,
coming up, and we have things that, and I'm sure people have stuff sitting around that they're like, I'm not even using this.
Go through your closet, your attic, your garage, and just go. You know what? Here's some stuff. I'm not selling anything in here. I've tried. I've got stuff in that closet I've tried to sell still. We'll probably put it out at the yard sale. But I know it sounds silly, but it's a good way to get some extra money in your hand for this. Something that I was doing, and I did for about 2-3 weeks leading up to our Christmas trip. It's super easy to sign up. Was DoorDash.
Are you done with that, by the way?
I mean, I can do it at any time, but since I've taken on some new clients and some stuff, I don't know that it's a necessity. But they have.
We've also been busy.
They have this Dasher Direct card where you can go do a DoorDash, and I know you might be working 40 hours a week, but you come home in the evening, and maybe you have time to go with an evening rush or a Saturday morning breakfast rush, or Sunday or something. And you can sign up for their Dasher Direct card. It's a Visa debit card. As soon as your shift is done for that day, it automatically loads to that card. So you could go out and do that. I made, leading up to the Christmas trip, $317 in about 2 weeks by doing DoorDash. So just something to think about. Another really good one, and our friend Jessica and Landon are really good at this, and I want to sit down and talk to them about it and learn their ways, is these cashback credit cards.
Yeah.
Disney has their Chase Visa that you can earn redemption points. So you can go ahead and leading up. I mean, heck, you could pay for your entire trip on the credit card, pay off the credit card, and you're going to earn all those points.
Yep.
And then you get a redemption card that is loaded with money that you can go ahead and use in the park for your meals and all. Another one, good ahead of time, sign up for the Landry's card that we've talked about.
Oh, yeah.
$25. You're going to immediately get a $25 gift card back. You're going to get $25 for your birthday. You're going to get preferred seating if you don't have a reservation and you just do standby. What are you smirking at?
I'm like, do as we say, not as we
do.
We've not done that.
Then let's do it when this episode is over.
Okay.
Or people, get on to us, people. You hold us accountable.
Okay.
I'm making tons of references to my brother today. All right. Let's go through some bullet points on additional ways to save, and don't want to sound like a broken record, but I think it's super important. Let's go back to number 1, Rhonda.
What, skip breakfast?
Yeah. Use vacation grocery delivery.
Or I just started to say...
Not skip breakfast. I mean, skip paying for breakfast, except for that one time.
Because I started to say, some people eat. Some people have kids. Some people...
But I know one time you're going to want to get your Mickey waffles.
Get your Mickey absolutely.
Waffles. But it pains me to think of a family going to the food court at their resort every single morning and spending, $15 a person, $60 in the morning right off the bat to get some scrambled eggs and bacon. Save one morning for your Mickey waffles. 100% do it. Or do an Ohana and get Mickey waffles, or Cape May Cafe. Cape May Cafe has come up so many times since I went with Chuck and Amy.
Yeah.
And I cannot recommend that place enough.
Yeah.
It was super good. Same thing with vacation grocery delivery. What's something else you can do that we talked about before?
Pack your lunches and snacks. And that's what's really cool too. Like going back to Jeremy's filling that out, instead of doing a quick service, if you do love Public subs or something, you could get a backpack and, put
that
those
almost
in there.
insinuates that there's a human being that doesn't love public subs, because
I mean, I don't know.
They're some of the best subs on the planet.
I mean, yes, they are, but I don't know. Some people might not like them. I don't know.
That's like Kat and Michael's go-to now.
I know.
Is a pub sub
Yeah.
in their room for when they arrive or
Yeah.
that first evening.
Yep.
Yeah, and again, yes, there's adorable little goldfish-style crackers in the shape of Mickey in the parks. Don't buy them.
Can't
Order
you get those
goldfish
now?
crackers. You can get. I've got some behind me.
That's not even funny.
But
But seriously, they have like Disney ones
do.
now in
they got
Publix.
ones shaped like Grogu and all. They got a
Yes.
Star Wars bat.
Right.
Order those through Vacation
Yes.
Grocery Delivery. Don't spend them in there.
Yeah.
I mean, save that money instead of getting, and you don't want to get stuck, so pack these snacks, especially for the kids. You don't want to get stuck in a queue or stuck in the park and a kid needs a snack and all of a sudden you're spending $6.99 on this tiny little bag of Mickey shaped goldfish crackers, or, a bag of pretzels or gummy worms that have Goofy on the outside package. Like, order these things for a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Save that money, because you're going to want to get your Mickey bar.
Or
you're gonna
cotton
wanna-
candy,
or your cotton
or
candy or
ice
something.
cream bar.
I know you're going to want your soft serve ice cream. So,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, heck, you could technically go ahead and get the Mickey bars via Vacation Grocery Delivery if you're in one of those one-bedroom villas with the freezer, and have them in your room for when you get back.
That's right, because
So-
they sell those at Publix.
It was so, I don't remember if I mentioned this back on the Christmas episode or not. That was the best, because you had gone down with the girls, and I was sitting and chatting and up in Kronos Club, and they were like, you know what, we're just going to do something fun, and went back and got a huge tray of Mickey bars and just started bringing them out and handing them to everyone. That was fun. Just a little memory. You mentioned this before, which is a wonderful idea about splitting meals.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because I don't, and that's not meaning for just you and your significant other. That's sometimes the kids. Like, how many times have we learned over the years, just everywhere?
Yeah.
Like around town, Disney, anywhere you go to eat, the kids, like, you get their own meal and they're not eating it all.
Yeah.
Then you try to take it home and then they don't eat it. So it's just easier just to split it.
Yeah. That's I forget who the comedian was talking about doggy bags, and they should basically just be like, would you like us to go ahead and throw away the food here, or do you want us to pack it up for you to take home and then throw it away? Here's the best part. You can order more. If all of a sudden Rhonda and I were like, you know what, we're at this sit down meal, we're going to split a burger and fries. The girls are going to split chicken tenders and fries.
Yeah.
We eat and we're like,
I'm
I'm actually still a little hungry.
Yeah.
Then you can order something else.
Yeah.
But if we both order a meal and the girls both order a meal, you can't send it back if you don't eat it and get money back.
Correct.
So again, and that's where I think this packing the snacks comes into play, or eating at the festival kiosks, throughout the day that Rhonda mentioned, is if you have some good hearty snacks, some protein bars, or beef jerky is a great one to take into the parks, then you can go ahead and maybe end up splitting that meal, because you want to experience these restaurants. You really, really do.
Absolutely.
If you're doing character dining, breakfast is almost always going to be the cheapest option. That's where you look at, hey, we want to do a character dining. Let's stick to breakfast, though, because we know that it's the cheapest, and that will be our table service meal maybe of the day, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Avoid multiple family style or buffet meals during your trip, because, as you mentioned earlier, that is pay per person set price.
That is.
You don't split in a sense.
No.
So you go to Roundup Rodeo right now for the four of us, it's $200 regardless.
Right.
Whereas if we go sit down at, right around the corner there at the Hollywood Brown Derby, we can split meals. We can save some money there.
Yes.
What is free all throughout Disney?
Well, for us, water.
Yeah.
And we like Florida water.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind
some
the
people
fountain
do
water.
not. But if you do like it and you can stand it, they do. Any place that has fountain sodas and stuff usually will be able to give just a cup of ice water.
Yeah.
So that's really nice. If you don't, though, they will give you that free ice. And if you have your Fiji water or whatever bottle that you actually like in your bag, then use that,
Or, something you could do, and a lot of people will do this when they're not flying just because of space, is they make Brita water bottles. So you can filter the water. It's
Are you
direct in your own
serious?
bottle. Yeah. Or
That's kind of cool.
honestly, instead of you going into the parks every day and buying bottles of water for your whole family, do as Rhonda said, order your Fiji, whatever fancy stuff you like, or you could literally order a Brita via vacation grocery delivery. Have it in your room to fill up your water bottles every day. Even if you threw it out at the end of your trip and didn't take it home, you're still going to save money over paying $4 for a bottle of water. And that's the same thing when you sit down at these table services is, let's just say you enjoy your wine or your beer or your cocktails. Vacation grocery delivery can deliver all of that without you being present. They can deliver alcohol. They're one of the very few, if not the only one, can technically do that. That might be where you say, you know what, we're going out to dinner, but we're going back to the resort after. I'm going to get water for dinner. I'm not going to get my cocktail or my glass of wine. I'm going to have it when I get back to the room because that's where it's sitting, and you saved a ton because you're going to spend the same on basically almost like one beer as you would possibly a 6-pack of beer, depending on what you're drinking. So you mentioned earlier about getting a kid's meal, even if you're an adult.
Yeah.
Now,
absolutely.
Again, you can't do that family style. You can't say, I'm only going to eat like a child, therefore charge me like one.
Correct.
One thing to note with those, if you do have a child who is a very picky eater, you can let them know that child will not be eating. Or if you just say brought a sandwich and they won't charge the child. As soon as they have one bite of something, though, they can charge them.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they just get chicken finger and fries at Whispering Canyon on Christmas Day for lunch, they will charge you the full $45 price.
Yeah.
Most expensive chicken fingers and fries and worth every single penny.
Absolutely.
Even though she only took like 2 bites.
She ate them later.
What was they were talking about Lacey, of course. She was just, she was having one of her little kind of moments, I guess, and didn't want the food that was presented and was getting a little anxious about it and all. And so the waiter was awesome. He's like, well, I can do chicken finger and fries. I got to charge you the regular price. We're like, that's fine. And she really did not eat much and took it back to the room. But she was writing some sort of story for school the other day and told this story in it. And I just thought it was so funny.
Yeah.
Refillable mugs at the resort.
Mm-hmm.
If you are not going to utilize vacation grocery delivery, because again, I understand it's not in everybody's best interest sometimes. Right. Maybe they don't need it. Go ahead and get a refillable mug that first day. We would usually get one for both of the girls. They could split it. Yep. You can fill it with coffee in the morning. You can fill it with sodas throughout the day. Yep. And then, like Rhonda said, even when you take it into the park, you can get those free waters and fill it up there.
And you can fill it up and take it into the park.
Yes, you certainly could.
And then drink it. And then, when it's done, there is no in the parks refillables. Yeah. But you can if you're okay with the water. Yeah.
And really, finally, this is going to be geared towards annual pass holders. Passes are coming back April 20th. All levels of passes are coming back. If you bought in at a lower level during this time, like the Pixie Pass, you will be able to upgrade. So that is super duper exciting for everyone that has been locked out of this for over 3 years, basically now, not been able to get an annual pass or, they hadn't renewed.
That's crazy.
Annual pass is going to have discounts, usually of 10% off food, not alcohol.
Correct.
At all table and signature restaurants. DVC is usually going to do 10%. Disney Visa card holders are going to do 10%. And go ahead and ask. Sometimes they used to run specials at quick service, but we just ask everywhere all the time, do you have any discounts?
Absolutely.
So, when you're sitting down for a $200 meal, maybe 10% is going to save you some money. I mean, you're basically, starting to knock out that tax money. You know what I mean? Like you're almost like, let's break even on tax and stuff. So hopefully this can help. Again, I know this probably isn't groundbreaking, but I think just having all these, I hope that there's some ideas here that people are like, well, I didn't really think of that. Or even going back to the budgeting in my, dollar store Lynn Testa example there of what you can budget eat every day, hopefully can help people because, the last thing you want to do and the last thing we want people to do is come back from a Disney vacation in debt.
Absolutely.
So everything you can do ahead of time.
Absolutely.
Setting money aside, paying off, obviously you're going to pay off your vacation ahead of time, but putting this money aside, another thing that when you go back to the gift cards, if you got a birthday coming up or you've got a holiday coming up, if you're getting close to Christmas or Hanukkah or something like that, ask for Disney gift cards from your family, from your friends, whatever. You could do the same thing for kids, especially as it comes to merchandise. If your kids are going to get there and want to buy stuff. Say, hey, you got a birthday party coming up. When your friends ask you what you want, tell them you want a Disney gift card. Here you go.
That's right.
Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you for being patient today and waiting for this episode to come out. I'm looking at you, Chuck. I love it when I get texts in the morning. He's just like, looking for your episode, man. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Oh, I know. I said it was my fault. I'm sorry. It was my
and
truck.
then he said, we better hear about the Forerunner.
Yep.
So that's why we brought you that information. But go ahead and hit subscribe. Get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. If you want to see all of the stuff live the next 2 weekends as we head down for a Wonderland Crew weekend to see Blue October,
Woo!
My triumphant return to Beer Garden.
Yep. That's going to be fun.
We are staying at Saratoga Springs.
People.
Yeah, 10 people. We got Saratoga Springs and a 2-bedroom villa that we're going to get to check out and review. Following weekend, Rhonda and I are staying at the Delta Hotel near the entrance to Disney Springs. We are doing Narcoossee's on their after they've just reopened for our anniversary dinner. 25th anniversary and Earth Day. That's Saturday, April 22nd at Animal Kingdom. Again, if you want to see all of this, catch it live, join us in the parks basically. Check out wonderlandcrew.com. As long as you're on the internet, you know what we're going to say, that we'd be very happy if you could leave us a rating and review.
Because it helps our show grow.
That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.